Hello, and welcome to SUNSPIRATION. If you're joining me for the first time, SUNSPIRATION is inspiration from the Holy Bible. I am a speaker and a Christian, so every Sunday I go in the Holy Bible and I find something, a powerful story to inspire you for the week. Every month we have a theme, and this month of November I've been talking about patience. Patience is something that we all had to learn in the last year and a half. And I'm sure there are still people out there who are still waiting upon God for different things. Now, patience is the capacity to calmly endure a difficult time. So you might be going through a difficult time, and I will say to you, be patient. Or it is the ability to wait calmly for something to happen. So it's not every time you're being patient, you're actually going through a difficult time. Sometimes you're waiting for something to happen, but it's that ability to calmly wait for it to happen. What we have been doing is we have been spelling out the word patience. And I kicked off with P, which is prayer. For me personally, prayer is just spending time in God's presence. Secondly, I said ask. Now you might be thinking, Victor, you said pray. Is that not the same thing as asking? No, it's not. When the blind man came to Jesus, Jesus asked him, what do you want? It was pretty obvious that he wanted to see, but Jesus still asked him. Now, one thing is, God never forces anything on us. And that's why it's important that when you are in your waiting season, when you are patiently waiting for something to happen, when you pray, you need to ask God for what is it that you want to happen. Third is time. Everything takes time. Every good thing will take time to happen. I know we live in a microwave community these days, or I'll say a microwave generation, where they want things to happen very quickly. But remember, the food that sits on the fire and cooks slowly for a long time always tastes better than the one that has been rushed. So do not rush. Let it simmer. Let it take its time so you can get what you truly and really want. The next we looked at was I, which is integrity. While you're waiting upon the Lord, you could easily be caught in cutting corners because you're trying to speed that time up. But you have to be a person of integrity. Those temptations will come, but just bear in mind that you have to always seek God's face to know, should I step out or not? But just remember, just wait nicely upon the Lord, and He will definitely give you the strength to carry on. E, entitlement. Don't go having an entitlement mentality. Don't go screaming at God saying, God, you promised this, promised that. Yes, it's okay to read His words back to Him, but check your heart. Are you doing it from a place of entitlement, or are you doing it from a place of just reading His words back to Him and say, Father, remember me? I gave a good example with the prodigal son who went to his father and said, give me my share of the kingdom, even though his father was still alive. And in their culture, your father had to be dead before you get the part of the kingdom. But he wanted it early. He had that entitlement mentality. It's mine. I want it now. And that's an attitude that you must try and avoid. And negativity. Those thoughts will come to your mind. People will say things to you. What's the point of waiting? Just curse God and just walk away. We saw it in the case of Job's wife. We've seen it even in the case of Abraham. When God promised him a child, He said, go out, look at the skies. I will give you children that will outnumber these stars. But Abraham still got impatient and listened to his wife when she said, sleep with the maid so you can have that child. He was trying to help God. But God is a forgiving Father. Maybe you've done things to speed things up. It's time to repent and say, God, forgive me. Hand over everything to Him, as Abraham did, and eventually got his promised son, which was Isaac. C, which is the next step I'm going to go into. And this is the last week for the month of November. So I'm going to go through the last two letters, C and E, as I said, spelling out the full word patience. C, communication. What are the words coming out of your mouth? What are you listening to in your waiting season? I will just remind you again, the way you wait, how you go through the process, The attitude while you're waiting determines the final result you are going to get. If you're complaining through the waiting, I love the statement made by Joyce Meyer, when you complain, you remain. So you might be wondering, why is it taking so long? You might want to check, maybe you're complaining too much. And complaining is also communicating. You're talking with people, and instead of sharing your journey, you're complaining about what's happening to you. It's okay to share with people what you're going through, maybe to encourage them, because sometimes somebody else might be in the same shoes as you. But by you sharing it, by communicating, talking to them, they might feel, you know what, we are in this together. And maybe you can become prayer partners or accountability partners to encourage each other through the journey. So communication is powerful, and not just about listening. It's also about what you're saying. What are you listening to? What kind of messages are you listening to? Who are those talking to you? It's important to check your communication. What are you saying? Remember, I spoke about negativity at end. Be careful what words are going into you. Constantly confess, communicate positively. Yes, I know I've not got what I want, but I'm going to keep waiting upon the Lord because I know He said He will do it for me. So check your communication. Check what you're listening to. Check what you are saying to people. Check what people are saying to you. That is very, very important. And finally, we come down to E, which is endurance. As you know, when I defined patience, I said the capacity to calmly endure difficult situations. Capacity to calmly endure. And now we're looking at endurance. What is endurance? That's your staying power. The staying power. It talks about strength. It talks about determination. It talks about stamina, because the longer you wait, you keep building that stamina for you to pull through. And we look at persistence. You stay on it. I'm not giving up. I'm waiting patiently for this. It feels tough, but I'm going to stay and I'm going to endure. I want to encourage you. You need to build those muscles to endure through this season. Every day I know might look tough. There are times in which you could look and think, I don't see this happening. But there are so many situations in the Bible, so many passages. I know you might be thinking, but God is going to do things for us. But guess what? God works in powerful ways. He puts you through these seasons because He wants you to be stronger at the other end. I can guarantee you, and I can give you many testimonies of times in which you thought, I don't even think you are there. You can go to the Bible. There are times in which people had to wait for a long time because God is putting them, He's refining them through that process, like beautiful and nice diamonds, or like gold, or like a precious stone that needs to be heated up, refined, so they can come out beautifully at the other end. If God rushes things through, there's a chance that you might miss it at the end because you were not prepared for it. David was anointed king, but he had to go through many processes. He was a shepherd boy. He had learned how to kill the lion, to kill the bear, and even took down Goliath. And when he saw Goliath, he spoke about, oh, I remember, I've taken down lions, I've taken down bears. So what is Goliath to me? And it's through that season, the things he learned, that's what he used to pull Goliath down. And even when he became king, those experiences worked powerfully through his favor. If he had complained and said, why am I going through all this? If he hadn't endured all the way to the end, because the biggest problem we face most of the time is we start the process, but we give up too early because we did not build that staying power. We did not persist and we did not endure all the way to the end. I really want to encourage you today. We've spoken about communication. We've spoken about endurance. I want to say to you, speak the right words into you. Speak life. Remember, your words are life. If you're saying the wrong things, you could be the one holding yourself down. And remember, endure all the way to the end. Remember, it's the person that finishes that race that gets the prize. If you stop halfway, that's where it all ends. I want to encourage you, build that endurance. I'm going to leave you finally with a powerful verse from the Bible, from the book of Isaiah 40 and 31. It says, those who wait upon the Lord, He will renew their strength. They will soar up with wings like eagles. They will run and not go weary. They will walk and not faint. For God to be promising to give you the strength to continue to walk and not faint, that means there are times that you're going to need that verse in your life. And that's why it's there in His holy word. So I want to encourage you. Isaiah 40:31. If you're in a waiting season, if you're building that patience muscle, keep reading this. Keep confessing this. Remember, I spoke about communication. Keep saying these words to yourself. He will give you the strength. And I can guarantee you, you will pull through right through the end. Remember, patience is a virtue. Patience is absolutely powerful. And I must say to you, the wait will definitely be worth it as long as you wait the right way. Stay blessed. Love you all.